Listening to Lost in Science on the Community Radio Network. The thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger, as the name suggests, is an extinct species from Tasmania. But what you may not know is that it once existed on the Australian mainland. And what's more, there have been reported sightings to this day around the continent. And today I'm speaking to Dr. Sandra Abell from James Cook University, who's leading a scientific survey to investigate sightings from far north Queensland and find out if the thylacine still exists. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Abell.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Now, I have so many questions, mostly just what? But first, look, I guess I really want to just clarify what I just said there. So the thylacine is known from Tasmania, but it did exist on the mainland. Is that correct?
That's correct. And we do have fossil evidence from Queensland, dated at about 2,000 years ago.
Okay. So you are currently leading a search for it. Now, what does this search involve?
Well, it actually is something that we've been doing for the last couple of years, actually. We've been surveying for mammals and predators, their predators, in North Queensland, basically for different reasons, obviously. We've been looking for populations of the northern bettong, which is an endangered, very small kangaroo. And we've recently made a rediscovery of a population that we hadn't seen since 2003, so that was exciting. And we have been looking at, feral animals, and, we've got some concerns about their decline. So this is sort of work that we've been doing, and it's ongoing. And the interest in the thylacine has kind of sparked everybody's curiosity, and we've got some additional funds that have been made available to do basically extend our camera trapping into the Cape and surrounding areas. So it's very exciting.
Okay, so that is very promising, because it does sound like a very strange thing just off on the first sound of it, but the idea that this is part of an ongoing project is really interesting. And so it sounds like you've had a good response to it too. We
have, and yeah, there definitely is lots of support, and I've had offers of volunteers and help and funding come forward. So this is a really great opportunity for us, because we know that mammals are declining in North Queensland and in Australia in general. We've got the worst record Australia actually has for the extinction and declines of mammals. So this is really timely. We need to go out there and keep doing this work, keep trying to understand why mammals are declining in general. And if we happen to find thylacines, well, it would be absolutely very exciting.
Yeah, look, I think that would be absolutely amazing. But this is not just like a random search for thylacine, so there have been some sightings up there, and although, of course, some details like their locations are going to be secret, I'd imagine, what can you tell us about the sightings?
Well, in particular, there have been two really credible people who've come forward with lots of experience, and their descriptions are really detailed. They were able to observe the animals with good light and for a longer period of time than most of the sightings that I've been receiving. So they are quite credible accounts, and it makes us really very curious to wonder if there's this possibility. Observational evidence is, we do have to be careful, because we can't actually say that it is a record based on somebody's observation. That's all that it is right now. What we need to do is get some really hard, real data, and that would be a very clear, obviously undoctored photograph, and preferably, and what I'd be aiming for is to get some DNA evidence as well.
Wow. I guess the immediate precedent in Australia would be the night parrot.
Yes, so there's lots of examples actually of rediscoveries. I mentioned earlier we had our own rediscovery recently of the northern bettong, a population that we hadn't seen since 2003. It's in a very remote location. It took lots of effort. We had 100 cameras go out. We had to leave them for at least a month, and lots of hiking and really hard work to get that data. So it's not unheard of. We're talking about really remote locations where people don't get to. They're nocturnal animals, just like the bettong. They're difficult to discover. So, if they are out there, obviously they're not, very easily found. So it's not impossible. What
do you think is the likelihood?
The likelihood? So while it isn't impossible, the actual probability of finding them is quite low. There are a few different factors to that. It's the the age of the sightings, so how long ago those sightings were made, and also just the sheer difficulty. And of course, it's a possibility that they aren't out there, that it was something else that was observed. So it is actually, I think I would have to be one of the luckiest people in the world to actually discover them. But I think it's exciting to imagine that they could be there. So
yeah. What about the traditional owners of the land? Have they got any sightings or stories that they can that shed some light on it?
I have heard through other people. I haven't had my own discussions yet with traditional owners, and I'm still actually deciding on location. So that will come with me, deciding on the location, and certainly I'll be hoping for some great, conversations with traditional owners. Obviously I need to get permissions, and I need to be very sensitive culturally with all of this as well. So that's my aim. What I would love to do is have traditional owners actually helping in on the ground and sharing knowledge and experiences. That's my hope. So, but as I said, I still have to decide on location yet, so I haven't had those conversations myself.
Fair enough. Well, look, it is an extremely exciting project, and I truly hope that you do have one of the most startling discoveries in biology. Look, it is very good, and best of luck with the search.
Thank you. I have so many good wishes coming in, and everybody's hoping that they'll be discovered. I've also noticed that there's a lot of concern about what will happen if we do, and maybe we should leave them alone. And I guess my response to that is, if they are there, and if we do just leave them alone, they could disappear, they could decline without us knowing about them at all. So it's kind of naive to think that if we just don't know about them, that they'll be okay. I think with what's happening in the world, there's lots of development, potential for the Cape. So it's important to have these discoveries in terms of, conservation as well. And that is absolutely the highest priority for our work. That's what we're doing all of this for. Is all this hard work is to conserve and understand why mammals are declining, and to try to prevent that and actually, get them protected.
Well, I hope that larger aim is successful as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And thanks for speaking to us.
Okay, thanks.
That was Dr. Sandra Abell from James Cook University.